All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, Bitcoin obviously destroying bears left and right. Everybody trying to short this thing, getting absolutely wrecked. Put in what people thought was some bearish divergence, which actually it was bearish divergence, but you know, typically when something is strong, it likes to stay strong. I mean, Bitcoin has been strong all year, minus the sideways bit that we had right through here. It's typical Bitcoin price action. Now we know for obvious reasons that it was accumulation. In fact, a lot more news coming out about Bitcoin's ETF. Let me see if I can find it. I guess, let me see, something about seed money and this and that. But I mean, Bitcoin right here sold 100,000 shares to a seed investor in October. But yeah, that's probably some of the reason why Bitcoin's going up. You have big tech was absolutely rocking the majority of the year. Bitcoin is just, trades pretty luck and step with risk assets, and they've been climbing all year. You can see that we are very close to 2022's yearly opening range, which was a phenomenal area to look for shorts last year, but last year everything was much different than this year as inflation has come down. And that's been our basic sticking point since the beginning of this year, January. If inflation continues to trend lower, then risk assets and in Bitcoin should go higher. That's exactly how it's played out. So we're sitting pretty good right now. I know people are, I'm looking for a pullback. Obviously, we are massively oversold on the weekly time frame here, but you have not put in any bearish divergence yet. I would look for that divergence on the weekly time frame before looking for any massive short positions. But like I said, we're just looking for a pullback. We know that the halving is coming next year around April. So that'll be the beginning of the second quarter. Rates are being priced in as cuts. Like the market's got a 4 rate cuts priced in for next year, which is just insanity in my opinion. I don't see the Fed cutting rates unless something is broken, or unless inflation hits their 2% target, then they could cut. But as long as inflation is sticky, I don't see them cutting that quickly. But the market is pricing it in, and the market is typically right always. I mean, you gotta do what the market says. So, something that I wanted to bring up was oil and another trade that we were looking at, Euro USD. Basically, we're looking to see if the Euro USD was going to stop. Here, let's put this on Oanda so you don't see that stupid gap. Yeah, basically, I'm wanting to see if it holds here, to see if this is a bear trap. We got the RSI setting right here around 50 after coming off of overbought read, which is what we want to see. So if this is going to continue with the trend, if it's going to continue to trend up, then I want to see today basically show us that this was a bear trap. Bear trap breaking down support right here yesterday. Today, we did not take out the low. If you look at the low up here where it says L, the low is 8041 and yesterday's low 8041. So exactly the same price, and that is where price is moving away from currently. We'll see if it holds. A potential buy could happen, right in here at the market open, but I still think that you'll probably get a run below these lows here. We'll see, right? Their exact price. So, yeah, let's see if we get a run down there. But if you want to take the trade, the risk would be obviously the low of that bearish candle for your first attempt at trying to nail this potential reversal. Now, if we continuously close hourly candles under 8041, which is this area here, then it is probably not a bear trap. All right? Probably not a bear trap. Here is oil. I took a long trade on it, but ended up getting stopped out, and then it ran in my direction. Basically, it cleared out this swing low here and yesterday's low with that wick, and you can see now that oil is getting a very big bounce. It didn't look like it was going to hold, seeing how this hourly candle closed below support, daily support, but I will continue to watch daily support today and into tomorrow for potential bullish entries on oil. Basically just looking for it to trade back up into resistance up in this area of $77. All right. I'm not looking for a breakout. I'm not looking for oil to go to the moon, but it is a nice little area to look for potential long setups. So those are the two trades that I see right now. As far as Bitcoin, there really isn't anything to do, right? I mean, if you're not already long, I can't tell you to get long up here because obviously when you're that overbought on the weekly time frame, it's just a matter of time before you do inevitably get that pullback. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight bullish weeks in a row, and Bitcoin rarely does that. I think it's happened a couple times in its history. So we are looking for a pullback, but as long as the shorts keep trying to pile in, there is no specific price level at which I could tell you to start to look for that pullback. It's exceeded all major levels that I was looking for the pullback to inevitably happen. It did not happen. I was looking for it to happen at 35,060. That was my bullish target for the year. That's when I took profits. I still hold 2/3 of that position. It's just simply my hodl bags. We did not get up to monthly supply yet. So maybe 43,069 would be an area to look for the pullback, or 2022's yearly open. Maybe that's where it finally ultimately finds resistance and rolls over. But we'll see. Yesterday was a very, very strong day. That basically just cemented all the shorts, right? It did look like it was losing momentum as the candles, the 3 daily candles leading into yesterday's move were getting smaller and smaller. That does typically smell like it is running out of steam, and then boom, just exploded to the upside. So yeah, trying to short this is going to get you ran over. However, if you must short it for whatever reason, watch daily res 41,987. That's going to be daily res until you break above it with another daily close. The S&P 500 is down again today. It's down 15 points. The weekly expected move for this thing is on another chart. Excuse me. Here we go. So the weekly expected move for this week was 45.36 to the low side and 46.51 to the high side. Currently right now on the futures, you are trading at 45.57. So these things don't trade the same, but you are down on the day. So this is going to open lower when it opens at 9:30. In fact, yesterday's candle on the futures doesn't look anything like yesterday's candle on the S&P 500. So let's go look at the futures real quick. There we go. So that's what you got going on the S&P 500. Daily support sitting roughly around 45.61. So it can bounce here. It did yesterday, but it does look like it wants a pullback as well. Printing bearish divergence. Nope, no divergence there at all, as you actually did close higher there. So that tick up was good. Pullback, and then ultimately we're going to look for this thing to find support eventually. The lowest support that we have currently is going to be 45.12. Maybe it wants to go a little bit lower than that. We definitely want to see where the moving averages are real quick. Yeah, so Maybe it does get down there. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the way that it's been trading, it's been doing absolutely nothing. We had this day right here. We thought we would see bullish continuation. It did not happen. It just simply the last 2 days have been pulling back. Yields also pulling back, which is interesting. Uh, Yields pulling back today. 30 years down 1.18%. 20-year down 1.13%. The yields are falling fast. So that also means that our yield curve inversion is rolling back over. Let's switch charts again. Go back to this. So there you go. There's your 0% line. That's where you need to get in order for yields to be no longer inverted. And it looks like the inversion is going to continue a bit. And then the 10-year, 2-year inversion still inverted as well. So, whenever anybody's looking for a recession to occur, it's going to be after the yield curves uninvert. So, yeah, it looks like the market is pricing in that Fed cut. We will see, though. Fed cuts interest rates. Would that be bullish for Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, typically it has been. Bitcoin does like a lower interest rate environment and low inflation. All right. So, with that being said, the two trades, like I said at the beginning, we're watching oil and we were watching Euro USD on for the potential bear trap. Potential bear trap. Let's see what it's doing intraday here, real quick. I believe that's daily support. No, it's not. What is it then? All right, so that's the hourly setup. That's where one would look to be a buyer if you do believe that it is going to go higher. Stop would be under that low right there. But like I said, I would take this entry if it wasn't for these two lows being exactly the same price. Let's just see how many pips that is away. So it's 15 pips away. So definitely achievable. And then I want to see if it continues to break down after that. That's going to be the key on whether or not this is a bearish trap or if it is actual bearish price action. With the S&P 500 rolling over yesterday and today, the dollar was up yesterday. The dollar is getting ready to make a fresh daily high at 103.76. Oh, here you go. Yesterday's high is up there. This is today's high right there. So it doesn't have much further to go to make a fresh daily high. And it did pull back from an area that used to be resistance. Right in here, you can see that when you traded up into it, you had 2 days of pullback, and then you struggled to break out until you got to this candle here. Then the breakout happened and you never came back for a retest. So basically, we retested that area and the dollar is pushing up. I do have daily res setting at 103.882. However, I think you would probably push up to about 104.386 before rolling back over, as the dollar is definitely bearish structure. It is not bullish. It is bearish. Now, if it does break out and get back above 105 and maintain support, then we will continue to look for shorts on things like the pound dollar and Euro USD. But right now, I mean, the trend is lower, right? So, and we're trend traders. So we basically just wait for these things to pull into resistance areas, and then we see if that is going to hold or not. um. Anyways, yeah, that's what we're looking for. All right. Let's see if anybody's got any questions. Oh, not many people here today. Fantastic. What's up, traders? What kind of RSI is that? It's just a standard RSI. It's just a standard RSI. I have just taken the MA off of it, and I changed the line from purple to yellow. And down here where right here, I made it a solid line instead of a dashed line and just made it brighter. Because I don't really care about oversold and overbought. Typically, the good technical setups come around the 50, in my opinion, right? It doesn't always work that great with Forex, but it does work really good with stocks. So those are typically the good setups, right? You trade up into a resistance area close to the 50 on the RSI, around the 21. I mean, you got the 200 exponential there as well. But this is an area that is going to act as resistance, or it should, right? I don't think the dollar is going to blast through all of those moving averages as well as both of those daily resistance levels. You don't have really any up close weekly candles in here to look for resistance. However, one thing of note, we have taken out last week's high. So that is, definitely something to keep in mind. But that typically doesn't always mean anything. Actually, it's also areas where we will sometimes look for short entries. But you took it out yesterday, and today's trade is just not really going on yet. You haven't done anything yet. So we'll see when the market opens if we get any kind of, what's going to happen with the Magnificent Seven. We can actually roll over here real quick and look. Let's get rid of the moving averages. Let's get rid of that. So pre-market, Apple's going to be gapping up. That's going, as long as it can maintain bullishness, then I would expect the S&P 500 to do the same. But Amazon gapping down, Meta gapping down. Meta's having a nice correction. Google gapping down. Google also having a nice correction, as you can see, coming off those highs pretty rapidly. Microsoft was looking for a short on this because it was just so massively overbought, but I just was unable to put it on this day. I just could not get filled. So yeah, Nvidia is pretty much trading right at where it closed yesterday. Tesla's going to be gapping down, and it is trading right now at daily support. Tesla is. Now, I would be looking for this to be an area where it would bounce, but we've already gotten that bounce, and then it traded back down. Then we got another bounce, and then found resistance and right back down to support. So the more time a support level is tested like that, the more chances there is that it's likely to break. We want price to shift away from those levels and continue to go in the opposite direction. When it keeps coming back to that price point, that pretty much tells us something. It tells us that there's probably a good chance that Tesla is going to break down support. But if you did want to get bullish, that is where you would look to be a buyer, right? At that price, like right now, you would throw on your bullish positions. So we'll see what happens here. With yields going down, the TLT has broke back out to the upside. This thing is not going to give us any slack at all, or let us get into a long trade. I actually bought a put on it yesterday, hoping that it would pull back into support so I could basically profit as it does correct and give us an opportunity to be a buyer. And it's gapping up today, so that's going to be a loss. But I'm not going to close the position right now because I will wait, give it a little bit, 5, 10, 15 minutes to see what it wants to do. That's a pretty good gap up there on the TLT. So we'll see how this plays out. But obviously, we've been talking about getting long the TLT for a long time. We've been talking about getting long TLT since 86.68, and now it's trading at $93. So obviously that call was correct. But it ain't just about getting calls correct. It's about translating that into gains. So we need a pretty good pullback, but the way yields are falling off, that's just pushing the TLT up higher and higher and higher. So yields coming off very rapidly is causing bond prices to shoot up. And bonds are where I said you wanted to start looking to put money to work. Basically, simply because of the massive, damn, right? Like there is a lot of room to the upside on this asset if it wants to go back up there. Here, of course, was the pandemic, but, we do expect the bonds to go higher. Unless something massive happens, like a massive bear market. Obviously, that would be very bad. If the bonds were to roll over and take out these lows and continue down, then banks would start crashing, more than likely. And some people are predicting that. There are a lot of uber bearish people out there. Too easy to buy pullback just before having. Everyone wanted to do that, so probably won't get a chance. That's a possibility. It is. It's a possibility that Bitcoin doesn't pull back, but the probabilities of that are very, very slim. I don't really see a reason for it to be doing what it has been doing now. Obviously, I thought Bitcoin was going to trade up to sideways, more sideways than up, and then, find us somewhere around the yearly open, pull back somewhere so that way give us another opportunity to get long. But could it continue to go up? Yeah. Anything is possible in the market. An asset can stay overbought for a very long time. And you can see it actually pulled back almost to the 50 on the RSI, which is the reason why I have the RSI pulled up on the charts, right? Because it's a good indication of what's actually going on, even if the candlesticks aren't representative of what's going on. So essentially, you got massively overbought, you stayed up there, you printed bearish divergence, and then you pulled back. So that would have been the day to buy. But it's hard to buy those types of days, isn't it? It is very hard to buy when you just have a solid big down move and you even close on the lows. But as long as you have other daily supports close within that area, that is an opportunity, even though it is at the highs. Remember, trends tend to stay going in the same direction as it takes a lot more volume and, bad things happening in order to cause a positive trend to turn negative. So generally, like when you look at anything, okay, so for instance, let's go look at the TLT because it's a perfect example. So if I get rid of the RSI and pull up volume, just time-based volume, okay? Now, I typically don't look at volume, all right? Because in my opinion, volume doesn't tell you anything. But in this situation, it did, right? Look at the spike of volume down here at these lows. That is impressive volume coming in. So that's essentially why I was looking for this thing to turn around and start moving back in the upward direction. This is what is required to change a trend. All right. Notice here when these lows were put in, you didn't have very much volume. You had random, very big spikes of volumes on random days. But what I'm talking about is this right there. That is impressive volume. So that is what kind of volume is required to change a trend, which is why I'm bullish TLT, or I'm trying to get bullish the TLT. But it begs the question of when. Well, if it can pull back to the 50 on the RSI, I don't necessarily care how deep the candle goes. If we can get a pullback to the 50 on the RSI, I'll be a buyer, even if price is still up here, right? Even if this thing goes sideways for multiple days, you would expect it to lose momentum. This is a momentum oscillator. So if momentum can pull back to around the 50, even a little bit under the 50, I'd be a buyer. I would just have a stop loss situated, lower. So that way, if it does break back down and continue to go on its bearish run, which I'm looking at this volume, I'm pretty sure is over, right? So that's the reason why we were mainly like really, really bullish on that. So if you go look at Bitcoin and its volume, what does it say? Nothing. It says nothing. All right. Nothing at all. Lows were put in here. You had a ton of volume come in there, but not very many days worth. But then the yearly open happened, and then you had an increase, a surge in volume as price was surging to the upside. That's a pretty good sign that people are shorting and getting stopped out, right? And then as the bullish trend continues, you want to see volume kind of die off. And now we're starting to see a little bit of a surge in volume, but not enough to change the trend in my direction. In my opinion. Now, like I said, I don't really use time-based volume. I like intraday volume bars to show me where people are buying and selling on an intraday level or on an intraday basis, so I can see essentially, is my bias right or is my bias wrong? And in a lot of cases, it'll tell you. Let's give it a little bit of time here to pull itself up. And also, it's a great tool to show you where the daily low is, the daily high, yada, yada. But you can see that the accumulation was happening there at the lows, right? At the lows. Now it's starting to happen at the highs. And we do see a lot of sell side coming in, right? But here you go, right? It's more than likely going to stop people out. I don't buy highs. If you want to buy breakouts, you can. I'm not saying that it isn't a legit strategy. If you would have bought this day here, obviously you would have made money on any one of these daily breakouts. Any one of them. If you would have just simply had a buy order setting at the high of day, you know what I mean? You would have made money. But it's hard to do that because most of the time this happens, right? We get a wick above the high of day and then it rolls over. Now it's consolidating at the highs, which is typically a bullish signal. It is not bearish. When something consolidates the highs, it's consolidating these gains. It's consolidating the gains. That means people are literally FOMOing into the asset at highs. So, I don't know how far it's going to go, but I know shorts are wrecked. They've been getting wrecked for many, many days. Many, many days, the shorts have been getting smoked. They were looking at this as a bearish formation, and it broke out to the upside. So not good. I've taken a couple shorts on it myself, right? Because I would love to be able to get in on the short side if the pullback is near. I'm just not seeing it yet. There's just not really a whole lot of technical analysis that would say, hey, look, it's probably time to start looking for the sell, other than the fact that it's massively overbought on the weekly. But you pulled back on the daily, so this thing can run essentially back to overbought regions again and stay up there for a long time. But, coming to the end of the year, I mean, I went back and looked as the months go. How does December usually perform for Bitcoin? And it's almost split. Um, Out of all the Decembers on the BLX index, you had one more green month than you did red month. But other than that, it was pretty well split. I don't know if I still have that chart. Let's go see if I do. Oh, there you go. So basically, the red ones are down months, white ones are up months. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reds. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whites. So literally, you've gotten one more bullish December than you have bearish December. There's not enough data there to suggest that December is going to be a bearish month. But I mean, it's a flat bottom month so far, which gives me a little bit of concern. But we've already exceeded last month's range. The candle is bigger than the previous candle, so it is a legit bullish breakout. It's just hard to find where to look for that short because everybody's trying to short it and it's not working out. And that's also a big reason why you're continuing to see the bullish run. Too much people coming in buying the thing. MicroStrategy is literally just absolutely rocking and rolling. Coinbase itself is up 300 and something percent. And these were all lagging Bitcoin. If you remember, before the breakout happened, these things were lagging. They weren't moving up with Bitcoin. And I remember saying it in a stream that gives me concern. Either one of these things are lying, right? Is typically what I say. One of these assets is a liar. If Bitcoin is breaking out to the upside, this should be also. But if it's not breaking out to the upside with Bitcoin, then why? But ultimately it did. It did break out. And if you go, like I said, from the lows down there, well, we won't get it perfect, but we'll get it good enough. You're up 350% almost from the lows. So Coinbase would have been a better buy as far as financially than Bitcoin was on the lows. Bitcoin's only moved up 150%. So, I mean, there's alpha to be gained on these things, but not now. Now, like Mara's up 320 or MicroStrategy's up 325%. The miners are a bit different. Like if I'm going to buy a stock based on Bitcoin, 355% on Riot, and Riot's still got yearly highs up here that are not messed with yet. So Riot could potentially get up to $20 if Bitcoin continues to move. So Bitcoin has made fresh yearly highs. Riot has not. MicroStrategy, fresh yearly highs. Mara, not fresh yearly highs. And let's add coin. Fresh yearly highs. So obviously MicroStrategy and Coinbase are both, in my opinion, better to invest in. But I mean, as far as returns goes from the lows, they're all up massively. 380% on Mara. So like you would have made much more money by investing in Mara than investing in Bitcoin. But the miners, they don't make money. They do not make money. MicroStrategy does. So MicroStrategy makes money. It's got an income of 90 million. We can go look at Mara and Riot, and you'll see that they do not make money. Negative $357 million. And then if we go to Riot, it's even worse, I think. No, negative $284 million. So they don't make money. If they don't make money, it's only a matter of time before they go out of business, right? So yeah, I mean, how's that going to affect Bitcoin in the long run? But as of right now, I mean, it's bullish. Just watch daily resistance levels until you start like rejecting them. Once you start rejecting them, then you can start looking for those short entries. And I wouldn't use levered up positions with a big position. Like, I wouldn't look at it as an opportunity to make money. I would only look at it as a hedging opportunity, an opportunity to throw a short on for the bags that you already own. And then whatever money you make on that short, if it does start to become more bullish around the halving, there's still a lot of time left. I mean, we're talking the very beginning of Q2 2024. So there's a lot of time left. Is Bitcoin going to make higher bullish daily closes every single day to the halving? No, it is going to pull back. It will. Nothing goes up straight in a row, right? Nothing. So you will get an opportunity, in my opinion, to buy Bitcoin lower. How low? I have no clue. 24,750. I know that's an area that was not liquidated. It does not mean that it has to be liquidated either, right? I'm not saying that it's going to go down there. I just look for high time frame levels that weren't liquidated, because we do know that the market loves to liquidate lows if it's going to go higher. Just look at oil, what it's doing today alone. Let me fix this line. Right there. Yeah, I mean, where is it? Right here. So look what oil did today, right? It came and took out that. Came all the way down, took out that low. And now you're bouncing. How high will it go? I don't have a clue, but that's typically where we look to take positions, because we know that the market does this over and over and over again. Now the trend is bearish. So I would look for that trend to continue, unless there's some macro reason why oil should continue higher. And cutting production isn't seem to be one of those reasons. We don't really know why oil is going down. When you have two wars going on and stuff like that, typically oil would go to the moon. So people are starting to think that maybe it could be a lack of demand. I don't see how it could be a lack of demand. Everybody that works has got to buy gas, literally, unless they ride a bike. So I don't see how demand would slow. But obviously something's causing oil to go down. And it has lost its bullish trend. You are stuck under the 50, so we look for shorting opportunities. This would have been a long opportunity for a day trade, right? Just a day trade. Because ultimately we figure oil would probably trade up to an old support or resistance level and then roll back over and continue with this lower trend. But it is sideways for now. So it's accumulating the losses from this move lower. Unless it starts to make higher highs and higher lows and get back up above $82 to $85, to me, you're looking for lower oil prices. Just based on the market structure alone. Not based on any macro data at all. I'm just looking at the chart. That's what I see. We probably get a sell the news event on the announcement of an ETF. Yeah, that is very possible. Absolutely. It is very, very possible. It just depends on when that announcement is made. Does it get made this month, December, or does it wait until next year before the SEC approves it? If the SEC approves it. But yeah, I could definitely see Bitcoin going down upon the approval of of that for sure. Because you do see that happen often in times, right? You buy the rumor and then sell the news. And the rumor is that there is going to be a spot Bitcoin ETF. So, upon announcement of approval, that'll be enough liquidity pulled in because more and more people will buy Bitcoin at that point, and then they'll dump it. It does happen, and it happens often. You could be absolutely correct, but I'm happy with it, right? 150% returns on my investment this year. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with it. I love it. It's a fantastic trade. It was a fantastic trade. Uh, ELF is unique event that will objectively bring in new capital. I'm sure you meant ETF. Different kids of institutional traditional capital badge approval, ETC rejection, bigger risk. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If BlackRock is going to announce the fact that which they have already, announced that they want a Bitcoin ETF, they have already bought. All right. It's not like they're waiting to see before the SEC gives them the right to go ahead, right? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, get your ETF. They've already bought. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not going to cause more demand on the side of the ETF maker. Like, BlackRock isn't then going to come in and buy, $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin. They have already been accumulating, and they've been accumulating for years. I'd say even when he was acting like Bitcoin was garbage, he was probably buying back then to accumulate a big enough position to basically be able to open the ETF. They already have it. But it could bring in FOMO buyers from retail. Absolutely. But here's the thing, they'll have easier access to buy Bitcoin through the ETF than, signing up for Coinbase or something like that, learning about Bitcoin. And a lot of people, like, Bitcoin is mooning, right? It's up 150% on the year, and there's no sentiment out there whatsoever. No, like, nothing like what was going on back in these days. You want to know why? Because all the people that FOMO'd in up here lost all their money. They probably sold once FTX crashed. They are no longer probably ever going to come back. Those people that got hurt really bad. Really, really bad. Some people lost like every bit of their savings because you had YouTubers telling people to invest over 50% of their net worth into Bitcoin at $50,000 because $50,000 is cheap. Well, it's not right now. It's expensive because we're trading at 42. Is it possible that it gets back up there? Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. But how many people can sit and watch lose 79% of their portfolio and then be happy about the asset once it becomes bullish again? So, I mean, yeah, a lot of people got hurt pretty bad, even though there were people out there like me saying, be careful buying at these prices, every single Bitcoin cycle since Bitcoin's inception has had massive, massive pullbacks, as low as 90% or as high as 90% corrections. Be very careful about buying a very bullish Bitcoin because you can get hurt very badly. But as far as the 4-year cycles are concerned, we're late cycle, right? We're late in the 4-year cycle, not You won't be fresh with the new 4-year cycle till you get beyond this red dotted line. So that's supposed to be when Bitcoin gets bullish. Now, a lot of people said last time that it would not, right? Because it's already priced in. The halving's priced in. That's just not the truth. So far, every single halving, Bitcoin has moved higher, not before, after. All right. You did have a move higher here, but look at the correction you had. And I made a video not too long ago stating that fact, that every single time in Bitcoin's 4-year cycles, the year prior to the halving, Bitcoin has made weekly overbought signals and had 30 to 40% pullbacks before the halving. Does not mean it will happen again. Past price performance is not indicative of future results. Unfortunately, if it were, then everybody would be rich, because then you could just go grab a fractal and throw it on your chart and you'd be rich. That's just not how it works. Is this thing pulling back any at all? No, it's going higher. It's coming into a supply area, so we'll see. We'll see. Let's go look at the Magnificent Seven, since Bitcoin isn't doing anything at all. Just trading sideways. It's trying to break out right now. Trying to break out. Apple's up on the day. It was gapping down. That's probably going to change the direction of the S&P. Amazon's up. Goog's still red on the day. I'm sorry, Meta still red on the day. Goog's up. Nice move to the upside there on Goog, and Microsoft is up. Nvidia is up. Tesla up. So yeah, there you go. Right at the very beginning of the stream, that's the area you want to be a buyer. That's the area to buy. If you bought that, take profits, because you're coming into resistance. Just another shot. It's just that's just the way these things work. Obviously, I didn't know it was going to go higher from there. It's just that's where it would go higher from. But it'll probably be sold into unless it can break out above this candle here. If it does that, then I could see Tesla moving higher. So it is consolidating gains. It's just I don't like to see that sideways price action get up there and then come all the way back down to support. That's not what I want to see. I want it usually to find support higher, like 239, and then go back to the upside, but it didn't. But you still haven't broken down on the RSI yet. So you still got, you're still bullish until you break down. Where was I? Let's see here. What's up, Brian? The 21 MA on monthly on DXY is pointing to support. Any thoughts? Well, I don't look at the 21 simple. I look at the 21 exponential. They are different. Simple moving average takes account all of past price. Exponentials rely heavier on the near term past price. And I only look at moving averages on the daily and weekly time frames. I typically don't really care about a monthly moving average. But yeah, on the monthly, if I was, someone who invested based on monthly charts, it does look like a buying opportunity on the dollar. But you have to take into account last month's candle as well. That is some serious bearish momentum. After breaking out from resistance. So there's your breakout, and then you even made one higher close, and then all of a sudden puke. That doesn't really resemble strength to me, even if this is here, right? I mean, you got plenty of other things you could say also. There's demand on a monthly time frame. That would be your demand candle. So that would be a technical level to be a buyer at, if you're looking at this as a buying opportunity. The RSI is, well, in bullish territory. So this could simply just be a pullback if you consider the lows of this candle. So if you just fib this low to that high, this is just a pullback on the monthly, right? Take this fib, pull it up to the highs. You retraced right to the 618 retracement level and stalled right to it. That's your 618 retracement. So yeah, that could bring in dollar buyers. We're at a very pivotal place, I guess one could say, on the monthly. But it being a fresh month, with this candle, I would say this is probably going to roll back over, right? Probably going to be the high of the month, right at daily res. So that makes that euro trade good. However, it did exactly what I said. It took out the lows, and then you got your bullish pop. So me again, once again, missing a beautiful opportunity for a bullish trade on the euro because I was talking. But hopefully some of you caught it, because that's what we were looking for right there. Liquidation of those lows, and then boom, up you go. It's still bearish on the day though, so that will have some ramifications to it getting any kind of bullish breakout potential. However, we'll watch the daily close. Wherever it closes today, does it close under support? And once again, it's easier if you look at the Oanda chart, because you don't see that stupid gap. And that gap screws with a lot of people. But there you go. So does this thing get back above 108,476? If so, that's going to be a buying opportunity. Look where your RSI is. I posted this on Twitter. Right here, USD watching yesterday's lows to see if we get downside continuation or if it reverses there. Bear trap? Question mark. So, yeah, it's bullish now. Missed that one. But we can always buy a retest of daily support if we get one. A missed trade is all right, right? You're going to miss trades. You're not going to catch them all. It's literally impossible to catch them all. I got to keep my eye on this thing here. If it goes much higher, I'm going to have to close that trade out for a magnificent loss. Yeah, well over what we typically want to do. So let's go ahead and throw in a closing order. We'll see if we can get filled on the midpoint. Save us a couple bucks. Yeah, right there. Boom. Filled. Done. Current positions. PayPal it was up much higher yesterday. So we'll see. I got a little bit more time left on it. It's a bullish position. I got a bullish position on PSTG and a bearish position on JP Morgan. So I'm literally like on the wrong side of every one of these trades right now. For right now. Well, we got some time. I thought I put PayPal back up on there. I did. So yeah, we're still okay on it. Actually, I like it. It's bouncing off of a demand level. So as long as that level holds today, I'll stay in the trade. If we close below it, I will close that trade. PSTG, Pure Storage, had a massive gap down on good earnings. So I'm watching this daily support right here. If we close the daily support under that, then I'll probably close the trade out. Obviously, the bears are in control of the asset, but this is a generally a good asset to own. That was based specifically on, I mean, look at their earnings. They make money, right? They make money. So we'll see if we can get that pop back up to at least fill the gap, 35.68. That's probably where I would close the trade down. Yeah, I think link only went to our community and not public on YouTube. That's why if you hear I didn't get YouTube notification today. Oh, you're right. It's unlisted. Son of a biscuit. Oops. Let's make it public. Dumbass. Wow. Anyways, just a mistake is all. A simple mistake. Thank you for telling me that, though. I never would have noticed. Thank you, Run TMC. Appreciate it, bub. But it's, it is what it is. But yeah, watching 3256 on PSTG. What was the other one? JP Morgan, short position. Is it on here? JP Morgan. No, I don't see it. So we got to add it. I am going to clean up this list. It's on there. There it is at the bottom. I'm going to clean up this list because a lot of these trades have already occurred. Like the RTX one, we already bought it here, took profits on the way up. So we can get rid of that one. I took profits on XPEV, so we can get rid of that. Took profits on Kraft Heinz. We bought Kraft Heinz here, 33.51. This is a very slow moving stock, but it made over 100% on profits on the option. And a lot of these other ones that were setups, Amgen's getting ready to potentially be a setup. The problem with it is I can't find an absolute level that I want to watch. Back down to 265.54, in my opinion, would be too low, as that would probably put you under. But we can watch that area. Maybe this day's open because it was retested the day after. All right. See, this day's open. This day opened, came down, retested the open, and then went higher. You are into heavy resistance here, which is why it's struggling. But as long as the RSI can stay above the 50, I like it higher. Amgen, higher. But it needs to find support. I can't buy it when it's got that much downside. All right, I got to let it slow down a little bit, find support, and then we'll look to buy it. The Charter and Comcast trades, they already happened. They were shorts. I had to close Comcast down because of this right here. So I was able to close this trade down for a small short, or a small profit. If you want to keep it on watch, you can. Charter is done, right? It's already happened. The trade's, it's done and over with. We were looking at it here. Right there is where we were looking for the short. Right there on that test of resistance. 417 spot 60. As we already tested the 50 on the RSI and we got a nice bearish reaction. This is our signal for the next day or two to watch for retests of resistance to get short. It has, it's not moved very far. It basically, we did get our push lower, but it's just been sideways. But I mean, is there more downside? Potentially, yeah. But if Comcast gets bullish, then Charter might as well. Coke was just a bullish trade over in here, but missed it. Just flat out missed it. It's only moved $3 though, so it's not like we missed anything big. And then this was going to be a bearish trade if we broke back down. We did not, so kind of just keeping it on watch, as it had a massive breakdown here a few weeks back, or months back, and I don't know why. There wasn't any earnings or anything like that. Some news came out and this thing just collapsed. So we'll see if this is going to be a selling opportunity, but as long as it's above the 50, can't sell it. Can't sell it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Tom. Good morning, Johan. Thoughts on ETH? BTC up 150 year to date. ETH only up 85% year to date. Also has not quite entered overbought on RSI yet. Typically they trade similar to one another. Yeah, ETH is down a full percent today, whereas Bitcoin is still up. Bitcoin did just make a higher hourly close, the highest hourly close it's made all year, right there. So this could be as far as it goes. If you close an hourly back under this resistance level, which we would have to use this one, then maybe we'll see a pullback back down to 41, 246. But as far as ETH, I mean, I'm not sure what you're asking. You're probably asking, is it a buyable event? With damn short printing bearish divergence on the daily RSI. It has made fresh yearly highs. Yeah. I mean, it looks almost like Bitcoin. You're right. It just hasn't had the move Bitcoin has had. Reasons for that are simple. No one's talking about an ETH ETF, right? Michael Saylor's not shilling ETH on Twitter every single day in and day out. So I would just assume that more people are just prone to buy Bitcoin, as Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency and the daddy of them all. I don't understand why ETH is not performing as good as Bitcoin. Well, it's just Bitcoin is stronger. That's why right there. This is a tradable asset. So the very fact that ETH BTC is getting crushed is the reason why Ethereum is not performing as well as Bitcoin. So like if you didn't have this cross pair to trade, then maybe Ethereum would be up there with Bitcoin, maybe even higher than Bitcoin, because there was one point in time where Ethereum was outpacing Bitcoin, right? Right through here, Ethereum was much stronger than Bitcoin was. So Ethereum had a much bigger move than Bitcoin did. But right now, the ETH BTC pair is getting shorted, but you are coming into a support area. So maybe Ethereum does become a buy. My problem with it is it would have been on the same day that the Bitcoin buy was, which was Tuesday, November 21st on that bearish day there. And I wouldn't have bought it because it broke support. But on the next day, getting back above the support, I would have probably took an entry there if it would have gave a clean entry. Let's see if it did. Yeah, it did. It gave a clean entry, and it did not stop it out. So that would have been the entry right there. This hour breakout above daily support, this retest of daily support, that's where the entry would have been based on the daily RSI. But you've already made the move. So wait for Ethereum to pull back again and then maybe buy it. I don't, like I said, I don't know how these things are going to, or what they're going to do. Yeah, it's not hit oversold on the weekly yet. It doesn't mean it will either. It didn't hit it here either. So my opinion is simply that the ETH BTC pair is just heavily shorted right now. And that's why Ethereum is struggling as far as, compared to what Bitcoin's done on the year. So we can look and see. You said ETH's only up 85%. So you're probably looking at the lows from the lows. It's up 152% from the lows. Oh, piece of junk. Okay, I got you. Yeah, it's up 80%. Bitcoin's up much further. That's the only reason that I can think of, really. I mean, just more people are talking about Bitcoin right now. There's much bigger buzz surrounding that ETF and the halving as well. I mean, the halving is getting closer and closer. So people are definitely going to be paying attention to that. Euro USD broke daily low. Yeah, that's when you should have entered it, Fabio. That's what I said to do, or what I was looking to do. I was just busy doing the live stream, so I missed it. Overbought on the weekly RSI. Yeah, heat from TA reminds me of 2020 bull market from 20 to 50K. No easy entries for swing traders or investors. Only difference is it pre-halving, but TA is similar. Yeah, I don't believe in fractals at all. I mean, from 2020, from 20K to 50K. Well, you could have bought the breakout itself, right? Where was it? Right there. So this would have been, that would have been the all-time high, right? You literally could have just bought the breakout from the old all-time high. But I'm not a breakout trader. We were buying it during the pandemic and around this area in here. I mean, it gave you multiple buys at support, and then even created another support just right in there. It gave you multiple days to be a buyer there. You tested support here. I mean, there's multiple places that I see that one could have entered after the halving for bullish entries. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, like, what are we going to see this year? Who knows? But I am looking for a pullback. I think you will get a chance to buy Bitcoin cheaper. How cheap? I don't know, but I do believe you'll be able to buy it cheaper before the halving. It's hard for me to fathom that Bitcoin will go up for 19 more weeks straight up, right? You've been up 9 already. So that'd be 28 weeks of straight bullish candles. It's not going to happen. It's never happened before in Bitcoin's history. I doubt it's going to happen here. You will get a chance to buy lower. You will get a red weekly candle before the halving. I guarantee it. Almost guarantee it. I can't guarantee it, obviously, but the probabilities are very high that you will get a chance to buy cheaper than 40K. Coinbase is up because it will be custodian for the spot ETFs with huge juicy fees for them rational. Yep, I agree. BlackRock gets all the Bitcoin from Clean Spark. Clean Spark? You mean this company? This is a miner. This is a miner, Tom. They don't sell Bitcoin, they mine them. I would say that they're buying it from Coinbase. If Coinbase is going to be the custodian, if it's going to hold all their Bitcoin, then obviously you would assume that they're probably going to buy it from them, and they're probably going to get a discount also. They probably have been, in my opinion. I think they have already bought as much as they need. All right? They have been buying for years and years and years. I thought this was a mining company. I know one thing, they're not profitable. They are not profitable. There's your income right there in negative. Not profitable. It's hard to believe that they're going to buy from them. But, I mean, you could be right. I don't know. 50K Bitcoin is cheap Bitcoin, says Lucky with a laughy face. Can I take a look at ADA? Absolutely. Well, it's not just ADA, is it? Cardano not really getting that bullish pop like Bitcoin is, huh? And some other alts. Some other alts are up massive. Someone told me to look at one up that was up the other day. It's over almost 2,000%. ADA's up 66%. So, I mean, I don't know much about Cardano. I would ask Brandon about this one, to be honest with you. Brandon knows more about these things and their use cases than I do. I just am a TA trader, right? Price action, technical analysis. There was resistance, there's a breakout, but it then made it a trap, and it held. So that is clearly the resistance that you are struggling to break above right now. So you need a weekly close above that, and then you need to see bullish continuation. But, I mean, it's given you multiple chances to buy into the rally. Maybe not on the weekly, but on the daily. Well, not any, like, real clear, obvious entries. Support down there, 24 cents would have been a better place to be a buyer. And that was all the way up into September, so early October is when you should have bought Cardano. Because if you just look at Bitcoin early October, it was starting its rally. Yeah. Wait for Wait for a support to be formed on Cardano and then buy it then. You've broken above that weekly resistance with one daily candle, and you're retesting it today. I mean, that's a clean test right there. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. So, yeah, I mean, you got one daily candle breaking out of that weekly res. So you could potentially buy here, but I would only target yesterday's close for, profit taking. But if you close back under this level today, then you're going to get stopped out first. But second, then it might be a trap. These things usually trade pretty much lockstep with Bitcoin. That's why a lot of alts are running right now. Because Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin's already making overbought readings. Most of your alts, it's going to be too late on them as well. I mean, I don't know. It can obviously go much higher considering where it came from. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, even though it looks like you're buying it expensive at 39 cents, it's been at $1.40, $1.30, $1.20. So, I mean, is it possible that it gets back up there? Yeah, but I would say we're going to need to see Bitcoin go on a massive bull run next year in order for that to occur. So, some of these are still going to be cheap. But I would buy the ones that are that have actual use cases. I don't know anything about Cardano's white paper. Like what they do, what their purpose is. Do they make money? Are they profitable? Blah, blah, blah. Because no matter what anybody says, this is just a company. It's traded as a Forex pair, but it is a company. Cardano is a company. Do they make money? Whatever they're selling, does it work? Stuff like that. Brian MPW. Yeah, it looks rough, but it is above the 50. So I mean, that's the only bullish scenario you have for this. I would probably say that, I mean, there's a lot of divergence in that. It needs to stay above $5, man. If it starts to trend under $5, it's gonna get killed. Because, like I said, once it gets cheaper than $5, all of your money investors, all of those people have to sell it if they own it in their portfolio. They have to sell it. They're not allowed to own anything under $5 as it is classified as a penny stock. But as long as it can hold, $5, then maybe it does go back up to 10. It looks like their earnings, they have good periods and they have bad periods, but their chart is flat dog crap. I mean, it is dog crap. It got absolutely murdered January 2022, and it has not let up at all. Even made a higher high here. So this would have been the time when, you know what I mean, when it should have gotten its breakout potential. But you're just day trading it, so you should be fine. And it's not a fast mover. The stock opened at $5.34. So it's literally dropped 20 cents. So it's not a fast mover. That's one good thing about it. But I don't believe that it has good options either, if I remember correctly. I believe this thing. No, it's got weeklies. Very cheap. Spreads are not that bad either. Very cheap. So you're buying calls. I mean, literally, you can buy an out of the money call for 12 cents, 45 days out. Yeah, there is potential to make huge gains there. Just look at the difference in pricing on the strikes. It's 46 cents at the $5 strike, a buck 30 on the $4 strike. So if you just get up to $7, you're gonna turn 12 cents into $1.30, or pretty close to it, right? I mean, that is definitely worth a gamble. Cheap options are lovely because you can buy them, and then if it don't work, oh well, you lost $12 per contract. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. DXY post news analysis, please. Post news. What news? Oh yeah, we had a lot of news today. Let's go look at the news real quick, see what happened. PMIs came in line with expectations, a little bit better than last month, but not much. ISM for November came in lower, but the main manufacturing PMI came in at 52.7, so 0.7% better than was expected. ISM non-manufacturing, and then you had your JOLTS data, which is lower. So you got a few bullish drivers there and a few bearish drivers. Yeah, it looks the same. That looks like it's probably hurting that Euro USD trade. It's struggling to break out. So just give it time, I guess. I mean, if you had taken that trade, you should have taken profits. You always take profits in the resistance. That's the goal, right? If you would have got filled at that low, you're up 26 pips in the resistance. That's your profit taking zone. You risk 10 pips to make 20, and you hit it. So you should take profits, move your stock to break even. That's the way you do these things. That was the setup we were looking at. It did play out. I missed it. The other setup is oil. We were looking at oil higher, and it went much higher. I got stopped out on that position, though, because I tried to buy daily support after we broke out above it, when we traded into it, and then we had that dump right there, which, if you know anything about oil, that is a big move. Oil futures, that's a big move. Every cent is one tick. So yeah, it looks like it's stalling out though, because oil's definitely in a downtrend. I would have already taken profits on that as well, but like I said, I got stopped out on it, and then immediately it ran in my direction. 10 minutes later, it was right back above my entry. Oh, so bad. But it looks like it's struggling now. Where's the rest of the market? S&P 500 exploded to the upside, now trading well above VWAP. NASDAQ, same scenario. Exploded to the upside on the open. And then on the 10 o'clock candle, had a nice move to the upside. Why won't you let me? Thank you. So there's your move to the upside. That's your 10 o'clock candle there. JOLTS data. Move to the upside. There's your dollar. And there's oil. Oil, we'll see if it can hold 73.33. It's in the hourly res. As long as it can hold 73.33, it could be another shot. Another shot to the upside. As that's the midpoint of this bullish candle there. Market watch, heat map, it's just the same stocks that are propping the market up as always. Everything else is freaking dead except for these 7 stocks. So crazy. Or 10 stocks. Let's see where we are though on the S&P 100. Bearish. That should be bearish. But since Apple is up, since Amazon is up, CVS up big, Google up, Microsoft up, Nvidia up, AT&T, Tesla. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Everything else is red. Everything else is red. They're really and truly, it's just diabolical, man. Diabolical. How can those 10 stocks keep this market propped up? It has such a heavy weighting in the freaking S&Ps. They were all bearish. Now they're all bullish. So is the S&P 500. To be fair, it's just barely bullish. Like it's not even up $1. Now it's up $1. What is the expected move for the S&P 500 today? I know the expected move for all week was $57. Today is December 5th, so they got a $15 expected move. So here's the open. There's 70 right where it closed yesterday, and then it traded down to, yeah, so it made its move low. So now it can move as high as $15 to the upside. You're still negative on the day by $1.50. But be careful because this is right where it can absolutely just go. 15 points would be my 10 points actually would be my target. I mean, the S&P 500 could get up to $10 higher than where it is now. I would take profits, which there's not an entry on it to take yet. There was an entry when it retested the VWAP, but also retested old daily res that I have Ryan 40. What is that? 45.68. So yeah. Euro back down almost 0.25%. So I guess the dollar liked the news after all. Daily resistance coming up, but I don't know if I would short it. Bitcoin taking out yesterday's high. It just did. Yesterday's high was 410. You're at 422. So if you want to short it, you could take a shot at it now. On the week's platform, you have not liquidated yesterday's high, though. This does not look bearish to me, but if you did want to take a shot at it, that's where you would short it. And I would do it now. Use today's high as your stop loss. You're real close to it. This does not look bearish, but it might here in about 5 minutes. What's up, few ledges? Do we want to short Bitcoin? No, probably not. Let's mark yesterday's high. That's daily res down there, but we'll mark the high. We can watch how it trades around the high for a second. It's so strong, I don't think the bullish dollar is going to affect it. But if it was going to affect it, then it would need to do it soon. Real soon. Yeah, MPW, we talked about that. BlackRock owns them. Oh, okay. That makes sense. CleanSpark has a dead deal with BlackRock and are repaying it in Bitcoin. Gotcha. Tracy Wang says, can help look at ASPN, Aspen. Thanks. Yeah. So that's the price at which you want to short it if you do want to try to short it. It is very bullish. You are definitely going against the trend. The hourly looks extremely bullish, but that would all change if this became a bearish engulfing candle. Yeah, I'll look at Aspen for you, Trace. Give me 1 second. I'm debating on if I want to try to take a short here or not. No. There's no volume coming in at the highs. But that don't necessarily matter. There is a little bit of sell side coming in. There's more selling taking place up there than buying, that's for sure. But is it enough? So all the shorts that were in here, they all got wrecked because they didn't wait for the high to be, they got to wait for that, man. You can't just get short there. You got to wait for that. Then you get short. And it doesn't always work either. S&P 500 moving higher. I don't think this is going to be enough volume to cause it to go back lower, but only time will tell. See, that's what makes it difficult right there, because they can do that for another 15, 20 minutes, and then you get your dump candle. If you want to use weeks, the exchange, there is a link in the description. It says for U.S. citizens, use this link. That's for weeks. I'm having trouble on BitGet right now. They're working on it, but I've been having trouble placing orders, whereas on weeks I have no problem placing orders. Yeah. What's going on here? If I wasn't logged in on my account, I'm going to be so pissed off. I wasn't. Wait. Yeah, I am logged in. I actually got the order off. It just didn't show me. So I did fire a short because that looks good. My fill price on the short was 42.30, 42,388. So I got filled right about here. Stop is obviously the high of day. And on weeks, that is 42,487 or 42. Wait, let me get the exact price. It is 42,472. 42,472. Let me put my stop loss in and then I'll go look. We're 72. Close 100%, please. Yes, I understand. All right, so if we go up and make a fresh daily high, I'll get stopped out of that position. If not, then I'll take profits. Weeks has 200x leverage too. Insane. 200x. All right, let me go look at Aspen for Tracy. Aspen Technologies. I don't know if you meant crypto or stocks. Let me just see if it's a crypto. ASPN. No, it is not. So it is a stock. On the New York Stock Exchange. Let's take a broader look at this thing, shall we? Well, it got absolutely crucified. A high of 65.99 and you're trading at 10.75 right away. I don't like that. Excuse me. You are bullish on the weekly time frame as far as the RSI is concerned, right? But you're coming into heavy resistance at about 12.29. $12.85 is going to be monthly res. 12.68, sorry. All right, so let's go look at the daily. What I would do on this if I wanted to be a buyer, I would wait for it to get back down to the 50 on the RSI or retest the 21 exponential and then find an actual price point where there is a support. You got support setting at around $10 here. 10.08. You also have a higher support at 10.56. But I mean, it looks okay. It's consolidating the gains that it's made. Your moving averages are switching back to being bullish for the market structure. You had a bullish golden cross. That's when the 50 crosses the 200 right there. So if you could get a pullback back down to the 50 on the RSI, which is just the midpoint of it's just a stock RSI. Like I said, the only thing I've done is removed the moving average. That is it. So if that happens, that's where I'd look to be a buyer. on Aspen, around $10. I don't like the fact that it broke out yesterday or 2 days ago or Friday, because today's Tuesday. Broke out Friday, and then yesterday it's pulling back already. Today it looks like it's pulling back from yesterday's open. So it does look like it's in pullback mode. Allow it to do so, then look to attack it. LTCN. So this is a Litecoin Trust Grayscale. It's overbought on the weekly. It's into an area of potential resistance. That's going to be supply. This is going to be resistance. So would I buy it knowing that it's right there? No. You need to pull back on this as well. This has already done its expansion. People should have been buying this at $4. You should have bought it right in this area here, because that's where you retested the 50. And then you would have made nice gains. So you got to kind of wait for that to occur again. All right. Right now you can't buy it. If you buy it, you're really buying it like, if Bitcoin pulls back today, I'm not saying that it's going to, but if Bitcoin does continue to pull back today, this will too, more than likely. This thing is superbly overbought on the daily. So it looks like it's a short squeeze, the same thing that's occurring on Bitcoin. You just need to let it pull back to around $6, something like that is probably where you would hit the 50 on the RSI. Now, you might not get perfect tests of it, like right here you overshot, right there you overshot, but that's just where I would start looking for support to form and then buy. DXY high of day, says Tom, and we'll go look at BMY, which is another one of these absolute dogs of a stock. It's just getting absolutely destroyed. But Bristol Myers Squibb is a huge company and they do make money, so I don't understand why they got wrecked. They got wrecked. You're at resistance right now, so if you took a position this morning at the open, I would think about taking profits, as you could not close above it yesterday. Now, if you close above it today, maybe then you could buy it, but there is no, there is divergence from this point to this point. But that divergence, once it gets up close to the 50 like that, I consider divergence to be played out. So, you really don't have much going for you on this one as far as being bullish, other than it's had such a massive sell-off trying to pick the bottom. The trade would have been on upon liquidation of the lows on this day here. But right now you're going to be struggling at resistance. It looks like intraday it's doing okay. I wouldn't buy it now. Absolutely no. But there's nothing that says that it can't go much higher. It just looks absolutely god awful. It even filled this gap right here and come off. So Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would probably wait for it to get around the 50 and look to sell it. It's just me. It looks like Bitcoin is struggling. It is not rolling over. So that 5 minute candle that looked good is it came back. That's the problem with trying to short something that's uber bullish. Every 5 minute candle gets bought. Struggling with the high of day, but we'll see if it. The DXY is making fresh daily highs, but if it rolls over, that's going to smell like trouble. And remember, this is daily res right here. This is where we're literally looking for the long position on Euro USD. So you just liquidated what you liquidated the other day. Or I mean earlier today. That was the entry point, but it was just one 5 minute candle. And then the rest of the time it's just been pulling back. But this is going to be a multi-day watch. It's not going to be something that's going to take place today. Exactly. Because we are looking for it to hold support here. This chart shows two closes under. This chart shows one. And then obviously today's range. So we'll see if this ends up being a trap. If we get a big bullish candle tomorrow, boom, then yeah. But I am very disappointed on how it's traded today. That looked very promising. It looked like it was going to work out. So, like, if in order for me to stay short on this, I need to see this thing, like, show some dumpage. Pretty good size down candles. I don't want it to just play, like this. There's 2 minutes left on the hourly close. 2 minutes. We already have one hourly close above resistance. There's intraday resistance. That's your hourly res. That's a breakout. You got 1 minute, 4 seconds left on this candle. It needs to close down here. Needs to. And it doesn't look like it's going to. So that means you're going to have a higher close. That is bearish. That is bullish. "30 seconds. You need to dump. All right. Can I long gold here? I don't know where gold is. I know it had a huge move and then it got absolutely destroyed. This was a fresh all-time high. And then boom. I would give it another day or two. Right? There's the clear and obvious breakout zone. You haven't retested it yet. But I mean, you're buying gold at highs, like literally all-time highs. If gold looks good to you at $2,015, then yeah, you can buy it, but I don't know if you're going to make any money on it. I think you need to let it pull back a little bit more. I do not like this reaction. This reaction right here is like a seller's wet dream. Think about it. Like right there is your all-time high on gold, and you broke out on this day, and the second day had a nice open and rip. And now look where you're trading. $150 move in the span of 2 days. Massive move lower. So it needs to hold support. It needs to get back down to 50 and it needs to hold support. Or wherever today closes, it needs to stay there. Like you don't want to see close. You don't want to see lower daily closes. As long as you're getting a lower daily close, then you got to wait. Literally need to wait. Gold is difficult right now, right? Because a lot of people are assuming it's going to go higher because Bitcoin's going higher and calamity in the world right now and everything. So it's going to be very volatile. But if it makes a daily support and holds, I would definitely take a shot at it. Because you definitely liquidated any shorts that was setting right above that, right? Any shorts that got triggered in on this day were smoked the next day. And then that's how you get these big fat wicks. Look at just what's happened every time gold's gotten up to this price. You see what I mean? Boom. And in here, you almost got there. Boom. Here, boom. It looks to me like there is clear selling taking place above 2,050 bucks. Bitcoin is dropping. That's what we want to see. I mean, for our short trade. Profit target on that Bitcoin trade, if you took it, 41838 on Weeks platform, on Coinbase. It'll be right there. 41830. That's if you get it. The midpoint of this candle is probably going to act as a little bit of support. So Bitcoin could literally just pull back down there and then rotate right out of there. And then go right back up. So you definitely want to see it break down below there and close below this hour. It's imperative. And depending on how much leverage you use, I mean, that's also ultimately going to dictate what kind of profits you're in. On this position, I have 25x leverage. No, 20x leverage. And the position is setting roughly around 11% in returns. 11% is a pretty decent trade. but we'll see what happens with it. All right, let's see. Financial conspirator. Doji points to indecision in this area. Yeah, on gold, for sure. It's definitely a crazy candle. My concern with gold is simple. Every single time it's gotten up into $2,000 and a plus, it's like it's been sold off. Would love to reset the RSIs. Yep. Yep. Use 30-minute resistance and 30-minute supply. Why? Yeah, I guess you could say that, but my argument would be this would be the resistance level, Tom. Nope. It would be here. Because this candle took out that candle's low. So this candle legit like made that candle a trap. So this is the resistance level that I would use. That's obviously where you would take profits if you took the short up there. If you want to use the 30-minute candle. Like I said, this asset is bullish. I mean, that's bullish. It is nice that it didn't close above that. So, I mean, that's literally the only thing the short trade has going for it on the 30-minute time frame. All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Shorting here is scary. Yeah, it's very bullish. Yeah. It's been nuking every single short seller. You're up on the day. You're higher than yesterday's close. I usually look at hourly candles, and right now there's hourly res. You closed 2 hours above it. So it is definitely not bearish. Not yet. Definitely not. Like that trade is probably going to get stopped out. What I want to see is I want to see this thing roll over like hard soon. Otherwise, it's going to go on up there and smoke that high. Because there's not a lot of shorts coming in either. We can see that by volume profile. I mean, it's building up now. You're getting that buildup of volume now. But at the highs, nothing really. Like, not a lot of volume at all up there. So maybe the sellers can hold it here if the volume starts to build up. But you got buyers. People are buying these candles lows. I mean, when the blue's bigger than the yellow, that means there's more buying taking place. This yellow is the selling. So they're literally buying every single swing low. As far as the bid asks on the day, they're pretty much equal. You got 4.52K on the bid, or on the ask, whatever, 4.8 on the other side. So a little bit more selling than buying, but not enough to roll it over, especially since the point of control is all the way down here. We would need a new point of control literally to get built in right in this area, like quick. In order to do that, volume is going to have to come all the way out here. That would be the only way that I could see this thing probably ultimately rolling over. But we'll see. There also has to be demand up here, which there is. People are buying. You can see in the blue, those are bids. Those are people coming in there and buying Bitcoin at $42,000. So they obviously think it's going to go higher. And if there's demand above that price, it will continue to go higher. The sellers' backs are against the wall right now. The sellers are not in control of this asset. The buyers are. The taking a short at the highs is just, it's a one-off. Literally, it's just a gamble. It's a gamble trade. I do not like the fact that the hourlies are closing higher. That tells me right there that this is probably not a short. But ultimately, it could roll over. I mean, you got Risk making a fantastic move there. 10 o'clock candle. There's your Nasdaqian. Massive move up. Oil getting hit back down. So oil struggling to break out above resistance. I just can't short it when it's right at support like that. But those are the things that I'll be watching for the rest of the day. Bitcoin, obviously. I'll be watching oil. Euro USD will be watched today and tomorrow for support to be found ultimately. And the DXY, we want it to roll over here at resistance. We did get a nice move lower on the news, but that every bit of that was sucked right back up. So it's funny to me that you got bullish dollar and you got bullish risk. Funny. Yeah, Tesla ultimately up 4% on the day. So buying daily support proved to be a fantastic trade that I did not take because I just didn't like it being right back down to support. But that just goes to show you that using actual levels like this will improve your trading. I mean, that was the entry at the open. Boom. But there's no way to know what's going to happen in the future. So you got to manage your risk. Hence the reason I threw a stop loss above Bitcoin's high of day. Just in case it decides to go and make a new one. I don't want to be in the trade at that point. 43K by Friday. At this point, anything's possible, man. I mean, you're almost there now. So yeah, I could see 43K by Friday. DAX. Index products. DAX is bullish as hell for now. It looks just like Risk. Looks just like Risk. It rolled over, had a nice move to the downside, and then a bullish rally to just absolutely liquidate every single short alive. Look at the oversoldness on this thing. You're more oversold than you've been since 2017. I mean, overbought, sorry. Not oversold, overbought since 2017. So, huge rally. It's getting ready to take out that swing high right there. It's not a short, in my opinion. You're making fresh all-time highs on the DAX, I think. Let's go to the monthly just to make sure. Yep, you're making fresh all-time highs on the DAX. Bullish. The Hang Seng, however, bearish. Nikkei, not too bad. Not too bad. Which is strange. Yep. That's pretty much it. You guys have a fantastic... What's DE40? I don't have that one. I can try to type in DE40 and see what happens. Capital.com. It's making fresh all-time highs as well. Yeah, there's nothing bearish about this chart. You just made fresh all-time highs today. It looks just like the S&P 500. So, I mean, if this chart has anything, like if this chart is like a seeing into the future as to what's going to happen with the S&P 500, you're going to have fresh all-time highs in a few days. Those are big bullish days there. Today you are basically breaking out. We'll see if it can maintain the breakout, or do the sellers ultimately show right back up. We shall see. Bitcoin is right back up to my entry, so it's just a matter of time before it hits my stop loss. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.